Good morning. I'm going to do a sugar freedom diet review for you this morning. I kind of do these as rehearsals, practices for my other videos, but we get some good information out. I've been getting some messages about getting off of sugar and the structure and the way that you go about it and what to do if you come up against some of the snags of quitting sugar. Now, I can't tell you how to eat, but I can tell you how I eat. I have 12 years of experience being in a state of nutritional ketosis. And of course, I wrote Sugar Freedom several years ago to help other people do what I did. Number one, the first thing we do on Sugar Freedom is we eliminate sugar, grains, and processed vegetable and seed oils. So those would be canola oil, soybean oil, these processed oils that are very common that you see in the stores. The other thing is very often the soybean oil is a very common oil that you're going to see in mayonnaise and salad dressing. So you're going to be making your own salad dressing on Sugar Freedom. So that would be the first three things. Get rid of anything that's sugar, sucrose, fructose, read the labels. And then number two, you're letting go of all of the grains, and that's the wheat, the rice, all of those grains. And then you're letting go of those processed oils, which very often one of the sources of those oils is going to be your salad dressings and your condiments. So you're going to be taking responsibility for your own food. One of the things about Sugar Freedom, the whole point of Sugar Freedom is that you're going to simplify your nutrition strategy. They say that variety is the spice of life. And yeah, variety is the spice of life. But if you give up some of the variety in your food, a lot of times you get back variety in your life. And that is a whole lot more fun. When you feel good, when your clothes fit, you just go out and enjoy life more. And if we're staying in right now because of quarantine, one of the reasons I'm making this video is that we're starting to hear that we may be moving forward in some countries and in the USA to the possibility of beginning to go back to work outside of essential jobs. As we get more testing, we know who is sick and who isn't. People are starting to go forward and come back and go to work. And I know that a lot of my friends, especially friends that I've seen on Facebook, I know this for sure, they've been doing a lot of baking. They've been eating a lot of sweets. And so I'm doing this video to help people. If you're getting ready to think about getting back out into the world, it may be time to go ahead and let go of some of the baking, let go of some of the sweets, bring back just your proteins, your fats, and your above ground vegetables, so that you're able to fit into your clothes as it's time to get back to work. One of the best things that I have found being in a state of nutritional ketosis for the last 12 years is I never have to buy new clothes unless they literally wear out. This blouse I'm wearing right now, I don't even know how old it is, but it's like everything always fits. And even during this quarantine, under so much stress, there was no point at which I reached for sugar or grains or the vegetable oils or any of the treats. And I live with two guys, my husband and my son, who are what I call normies, who basically can eat moderately of whatever they want. When my husband does need to lose weight, he does follow a ketogenic sugar freedom strategy, but otherwise they can basically eat, a variety of foods that we see on a standard American diet. Not me, and maybe not you. So that's the first thing with Sugar Freedom: eliminate the sugar, the grains, the processed vegetable and seed oils. So what do we eat instead? Let me start with those oils. So your fats are going to come from regular standard butter, grass-free, grass-fed if you can, Kerrygold if you can, but you don't have to. I do, when I cook bacon, yes, I do eat bacon. I save the drippings from the bacon. That is lard, a wonderful source of vitamin D. Did you know that? So I can cook with that. And then really that's about what I use. Sometimes I will mix olive oil with a little bit of butter. One of the things about the butter and the lard is that they're very stable at higher heats. So that's what I'll use. I used to use coconut oil. You can use coconut oil if you wish. That's another option. So those are the fats in general. Just good old butter, a little bit of lard, olive oil mixed with butter. Olive oil and avocado oil. You could use avocado oil as well. So wait a minute, no vegetable and seed oils. How does that work? Well, avocado and olive, these are fruits, so they're on the list. The next thing is the first thing you're going to do, especially if you have Sugar Freedom, it's available at sugarfreedom.com, $9. It's a whole list of everything I did to lose all of the weight, 70 pounds, keep it off for 12 years. At any rate, moving on. The first thing on Sugar Freedom is the 3-day sugar strike, which is essentially a ketogenic nutrition strategy. So it's 20 grams or less of carbohydrates per day. Where are those going to come from? Those carbohydrates are going to come from vegetables that grow above the ground. The broccoli, the lettuce, the spinach, the asparagus, all of those vegetables, maybe a little bit of onion. And so for those 3 days, there's not going to be any fruit and there's not going to be any root vegetables on the nutrition strategy. So no carrots, no potatoes, no yams. One of the things and one of the reasons that I'm making this live stream video is I did get a message from someone who was getting a little bit low energy on the sugar strike, getting rid of those foods. And one of the causes of that can be low sodium. A ketogenic strategy, once you get into it, as you're going into ketosis, is going to have a diuretic effect. It's a new kind of metabolism. You're switching from glucose metabolism to free fatty acid metabolism, and the byproduct of that is water, and it does have a diuretic effect. So one of the ways you can put that sodium back is by drinking chicken broth or vegetable broth or beef broth. That's going to put back the sodium. And it tends to be the remedy for the what we call the low carb flu or the keto flu, where you can feel low energy because you're trying to shift into free fatty acid burning from sugar burning. So you might feel a little bit low energy. You might feel a little sour stomach, a little bit of a headache. Drink that chicken broth, drink your broth, and you should feel better in as little as 10 minutes. Once again, though, I can tell you what I eat, but I am not a medical doctor or a registered dietitian. Certainly, there are so many MDs who are getting into and have been in the keto sphere for a long time. And so there are plenty of medical doctors. You can find them on YouTube. You can find their books that you can refer to on keto. My purpose is basically a real woman, a regular person telling you what it's like and how it feels to be using a ketogenic strategy over all this time. If once that works for you, if you're feeling good, those 3 days, then you get into the ongoing Sugar Freedom program where you would add back a serving of fruit a day, but that's a low sugar fruit, no grapes, no bananas, and you would be adding a little bit more, another salad, and a few more cooked vegetables. The whole point is if you're trying to overcome overweight and obesity, this is the point at which weight's going to be coming off. Typically, what we see, and this is with the clients that I worked with at Gordon's studio, this is from experience, what we've seen in the past. In that first week, we see significant drops in weight, sometimes 5 to 7 pounds, and then going forward, generally about a pound a week, sometimes 2. But this is just simply my experience in the people that I've worked with that have bought the program, sharing that information. If that's working for you and you feel good, right? So you've added back maybe a little bit of fruit, maybe some vegetables. If you find that your appetite is well managed, just simply keep cruising, keep going with that until you reach your goal. However, if you find that you're still experiencing cravings, your appetite is not well managed, then you go back to that ketogenic structure where it's 20 grams or less of carbohydrates per day. There's plenty of places. I use fitday.com where you can track how many carbohydrates you're ingesting. I do want to add, though, that after I went through menopause, this worked awesome. So I started this structure, this strategy, right when I turned 44. And it worked incredibly well until I was about 53, 54, went through menopause and started to have the cravings come back. So how did I handle that? I went carnivore. Now, the carnivore strategy is not in the Sugar Freedom program, but it really doesn't need to be because basically it's the next step. So I went from Sugar Freedom to keto and then into what I call AB keto or an animal-based keto structure. The way I use carnivore is I stay carnivore in order to keep my mood stable, in order to keep my weight stable. But on occasion, special occasions, I have a birthday coming up, then I will add back some above ground vegetables. And I will have my special dessert, which is heavy cream with a tablespoon of cream cheese, and you whip up that heavy cream, and then 2 teaspoons of plain cocoa, no sugar, sweetened with stevia, and then I'll have it with a little bit of sugar-free gelatin. But I don't do this all the time. I just do it on special occasions. On holidays, I will also usually add back some above ground vegetables, make a special dish, and I will also add back cheeses. That's another thing. On the 3-day sugar strike, go ahead and leave out the cheese. We're really trying to reduce the cravings, the hunger, the feeling of, needing to find the most pleasure in your life from food. Let go of that for at least those 3 days until you feel that energy surge and your appetite is under control. The energy surge, we call it kind of like the Atkins high. The wonderful thing is, and I believe, in my opinion, that it comes from the reduction in inflammation. As inflammation goes down, we have a better response to serotonin, to dopamine, to norepinephrine, to the other happy hormones. That as the sugar comes down, inflammation comes down, insulin resistance comes down, and then the body can respond to the happy hormones in a healthy way. And so this is what I've experienced, and so many of my readers have experienced, is this wonderful, keto euphoria, that you feel so much better after a couple of days. And once you get into that positive energy system where you've got ketones to burn for energy. So there it is, a little bit of guidelines on going sugar-free, doing sugar freedom, especially if you have been enjoying some, shall we call it, treat foods while you've been at home sheltering in place. Your health is so important, and your mood is so important. So thank you for watching, and like, share, subscribe, and I will continue to be back a couple of times a week with more tips and strategies for staying sugar-free and staying healthy and strong without traditional slow cardio. Thanks, everybody. Be well. Bye-bye.